Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Trying to make a fight between Vasyl Lomachenko and Jorge Linares at 135 seems to be a chore. Stay tuned. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, Jorge Linares is a champion at 135. It has been rumored that Vasyl Lomachenko is in talks, negotiating for the fight. It's not, that actually is not a rumor. He's moving up to lightweight. That's what his plan is. So he's moving out of 130. And there's been a lot of rumors and speculations and different things. And I'm surprised that nobody's really talking about this. But leave it to your boy Ego. I'm going to try to give you guys clarification on what I've heard is going on, the different sides and things like that. So in a nutshell, Vasyl Lomachenko and Jorge Linares have both, for all intents and purposes, called each other out. They've made several social media remarks and posted a couple graphics and memes and stuff. They said they want to fight each other. Lomachenko's team says they want him to move up to lightweight at some point, and they've said this for over a year at this point, right? They're trying to get big fights, so they said they're willing to move up to lightweight. Bob Arum did recent interviews where he says two possibilities for Lomachenko: Ray Beltran, who fights tomorrow, or a fight with Jorge Linares. So all seem well. Lomachenko's calling out Linares. Linares is like, I'll be a huckleberry, and he's saying he wants to fight. Then on top of that, Bob Arum saying that Lomachenko's possibilities are either Beltran or Linares. Golden Boy, Eric Gomez, and Oscar De La Hoya, they stepped up to the plate and says, yo, we want to make the fight, right? So it seemed like everything was going well, smooth sailing, till it got to the negotiating part. Then from what I understand, it got kind of fuzzy when it got to the money, agreeing to whatever split and who's going to get what. This is Lomachenko's first fight at lightweight. This is Linares is a champion. You can't disrespect him with the purse. You know what I mean? Like they did to Rigondeaux and offer him something. So they had to hash that out. And to my understanding, that was done. You know what I mean? It was a process. They got it to the point where all sides agreed. Now the issue is this. Canelo Alvarez, I was born ready, is fighting Cinco de Mayo weekend. Golden Boy Ben announced it. We knew that he's rematching Golovkin. Big fight. It's the biggest fight pay-per-view wise that is on the books already for 2018. It's a rematch that's much anticipated. That's May 5th, and that's on HBO pay-per-view. Customary to that, when they have a big HBO pay-per-view, they do a replay the following week, especially if they have a fight card. So HBO was supposed to put on some kind of May 12th fight card, right? Some type of May 12th fight card, and they were going to pair it up with the Canelo versus Triple G2 replay right before it, just like they always do, right? And according to all parties involved, Bob Arum is saying he's down for that May 12th date, but it has to be on the network in which Top Rank has been fighting, ESPN, right? De La Hoya's like, nah, HBO's offering more money. Bring Lomachenko to HBO. They're offering more money, and it's getting a lot of back and forth. So they agreed on money, got past that, and this is what Oscar De La Hoya put. So I'm going to give you guys some more clarification. De La Hoya says, number one, over the last days, there's been a lot of rumor and speculation about the potential fight between Jorge Linares and Vasyl Lomachenko. The facts are pretty clear, right? Number two, Jorge Linares wants the fight. Golden Boy Boxing wants the fight. Mr. Honda, who Jorge Linares also has like a Japanese promoter, kind of like David Lemieux is with Golden Boy, but he's also with Eye of the Tiger Management. So just that's who Mr. Honda is, wants the fight. And collectively, we are doing everything we can to get these two champions into the ring, right? He says, number 3, we know of no bylaw, Ukrainian holiday, or quote-unquote magic day, in the words of Bob Arum, that mandates that Vasyl Lomachenko can only fight in one day, on one day, during the spring and summer month, which is May 12th. Number 4, while Jorge Linares is happy to fight on any other date of the calendar, if Vasyl Lomachenko absolutely positively must fight on the 12th of May, we have a solution, right? Number 5, HBO is willing to pay more for the fight than is currently being offered, and they would do it on May 12th, right? Delahoya responds, number 6, so Vasyl Lomachenko has 3 options. Number 1, fight on May 12th on HBO. Number 2, fight on any other day on the calendar. 3, walk away from the fight all fans of the sport want to see. I am hopeful he chooses one of the first 2. Right? So here lies the problem. It sounds like some kind of pissing contest between Top Rank and Golden Boy. And you have Bob Arum, he did an interview with Yahoo Sports, so check that out, Kevin Iole. And he's saying that May 12th it has to happen for whatever reason. But he wants to happen on his terms on ESPN. But the problem with that would be this. The Canelo versus Golovkin 2 replay. That's a good fight. It's a big fight. For those who didn't get pay-per-view, it's going to be re-airing. So if they took a fight like Jorge Linares versus Vasyl Lomachenko and they put it on ESPN, then in essence it would be competing with an HBO telecast of Canelo versus Triple G 2 and whatever else HBO had planned. Like if it's not going to be Lomachenko versus Jorge Linares, I'm pretty sure they'll put together another fight. We just don't know about what fight it would be. You know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't really make sense. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't make sense to replay Canelo versus Triple G 2 on regular HBO since it's a pay-per-view the week after. But then they have an HBO fighter fighting an ESPN fighter on ESPN that same day. You know what I mean? It'd be a conflict of interest, if you will. So that's why De La Hoya is saying, hey, I have a solution. First of all, he says, I never heard of anything that would stipulate that Vasyl Lomachenko can only fight on that one particular day. And he says, even if there is something that stipulates that he can only fight on that one particular day, then tell you what, fight on HBO. They're offering more money, and they'll do the Canelo versus Triple G 2 replay, and then after, the main event will be Jorge Linares versus Vasyl Lomachenko. So the Golden Boy proposition, to me, it sounds fair. If HBO has put up more money than ESPN to secure the fight, right, that kind of satisfies everybody's needs. And he says option 2 would be to just overall pick another date. You know what I mean? Why is Lomachenko, why can he only fight May 12th? Because I heard Lomachenko, they were trying to get him a fight late April. So why is May 12th the golden date? You know what I mean? So Bob Arum, Top Rank stance, they're saying, oh, it has to happen May 12th for whatever reason. And they want it on ESPN. And Bob Arum is basically saying that it has to be on ESPN, and basically HBO is trying to cock block the fight, and they want it on their network. So that's the only reason they're creating this havoc. So that's the story. It sounds like the fighters want to fight. You know, this is a graphic Lomachenko posted not too long ago. He said, let's do this, Jorge Linares. And Jorge Linares calls himself King Jorge, and it says hashtag Kingslayer, hashtag Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Jorge Linares is like, whatever, fuck it. I'll fight on May 12th. You know what I mean? But the issue is, like I said, now it's this pissing contest about what network is going to host the fight. You know what I mean? And to be honest, in this situation, I have to side with, it sounds like Golden Boy. From what I gather from this whole situation, what they're saying sounds logical. And I tell you guys straight up, sometimes De La Hoya says some things I definitely don't agree with, but what he's saying right here sounds very reasonable. And this is the problem I keep telling you guys about when it comes to Vasyl Lomachenko. They're building him up as the Matrix, this robot, better than Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao, the greatest fighter we've ever seen since Muhammad Ali. He's the best fighter on the planet, pound for pound #1. No one can stop him. He's no Lomachenko. Everybody will be made to quit if they fight him. You know what I mean? All these things. These are like high hopes and expectations. To me, I think it's too premature to suggest he compares to legends like Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? To even compare him to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali had like almost 70 fights. Floyd got 50. Pacquiao got like almost 70, like at least 65 fights. You know what I'm saying? So very premature. Now, the other issue I have is it seems like with Top Rank, there's oftentimes these little quarrels in situations where there's a great fight and then the fans are treated to a lesser fight because there's always some kind of promotional, like even Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Everybody wanted to see it when it was first talked about, but then the Top Rank side, the Team Pacquiao side, they did not want to conform and agree to the drug testing. You know what I mean? You're gonna make all this money, you don't want to do drug testing. You know what I mean? And then they somehow flip it on Floyd and blame him. Oh, why does he want drug testing? He's scared. He's ducking Pacquiao. You know what I mean? And for me, I told you, Lomachenko's a great fighter. If he's gonna leave 130, fight at 35, there's some big names there. There's some big fights. Eventually, if he's gonna fight Pacquiao or whatever the plan is for him, there's some, you know what I mean, 130 plus, 135, 140, there's big names for him. But he has to fight those people, especially if they want to compare him to Muhammad Ali's and stuff like that. The Jorge Linares is a great fight. Nobody's complaining about the fight. But again, now it seems like first they were arguing over money. Now it's this magical date that Top Rank really wants, May 12th for whatever reason. And De La Hoya is like, what's up with this mythical magical date? Why does it have to be May 12th? Jorge Linares says any other date that calendar month or whenever we can fight. You know what I mean? But it to me, it kind of seems like Top Rank is almost finding a way out of the fight. You know what I mean? Like basic, or let me say it like this: if they can't have their way, then they're willing to move on. And then I'm going to tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be another in-house fight, and this is something that Top Rank has mastered. This whole process of keeping the business in-house. Nobody, I repeat, nobody that I know is really checking for Manny Pacquiao versus Mike Alvarado. I don't recall anyone after 2014 that was really saying, hey, Pacquiao should fight Mike Alvarado, aka in the last 2 years. Nobody's really checking for the fight, but it looks like Crawford Horn are going to fight, and that's going to be on the card. Pacquiao versus Horn. Meanwhile, there's another example. Pacquiao did an interview with fightnews.com. See, I cite my source so you guys can research everything. And Pacquiao says, I believe I want to fight Lucas Matisse. And Lucas Matisse, after he beat his last opponent, Karam, a Golden Boy fighter, Lucas Matisse, he called out Danny Garcia for a rematch and Pacquiao. Those are the two names he kept stressing in interviews. So both fighters seem like they want the fight. But then once again, Bob Arum comes in and he shuts that down. He immediately says that's not going to happen. But it's not going to happen for what? To get the Mike Alvarado fight with Pacquiao that no one really wants to see. And in my honest opinion, Pacquiao versus Lucas Matisse, that would have been great a couple years ago. That's not even the best fight that could be made at welterweight. You know what I mean? It's okay. I'm not like, if that got made, I would be like, cool. I wouldn't be like screaming up and down like if Wilder Joshua got made or Keith Thurman Errol Spence. It's not even anywhere remotely close to those type of fights. But I'll tell you this, I'd rather see that Pacquiao Matisse than Pacquiao versus Alvarado. So for that, if those are my options, of course I would pick Pacquiao Matisse. You know what I mean? Based on the type of power and stuff like that. Matisse did get some version of a WBA belt, things like that. You know what I mean? But again, like I said, Top Rank, it seems like they always want to keep things in-house. Pacquiao says he wants Matisse. Matisse says he wants Pacquiao. You know what I mean? And if you're going to make Terrence Crawford, Jeff Horn, an ESPN pay-per-view, I think speaking on behalf of the majority of the fans, I think more people, and you guys, if you disagree or agree, put it in the comment section. I think people would be happier to pay a pay-per-view price point to see Pacquiao Matisse than Pacquiao versus Mike Alvarado. So it just seems highly coincidental that Top Rank always had these little instances where it could be a good fight, a big fight, but for some reason, when it's a cross-promotion fight between two big fighters, where you actually, like if you look at Lomachenko, you look at some of his big fights, for considering how like who he is, he's not, opponents that are facing him, they're not necessarily even getting career high paydays. You know what I mean? Nicholas Walters, he got offered $550,000 in the summertime roughly, and he says, no, Lomachenko's a great fighter and we want more money. Top Rank starved him, didn't give him no fights, then propositioned him for a November fight with Lomachenko, and then they offered him even less money the second go around. So it's not like he at least got what he was offered in the summertime. He got like $250,000 less. They offered him like $350 or something, you know what I mean? Or whatever it was. Do the research the numbers. Same thing with Rigondeaux. Lomachenko got over $1 million, and Rigondeaux didn't even get what he got when he fought Nonito Donaire. So, you know what I mean? It seems like these are also issues, like the money. You know what I mean? Top Rank, you make Pacquiao versus Mike Alvarado, you probably don't have to pay Alvarado as much because of where he's at in his particular career. You know what I mean? He can't be demanding $4 million to fight Pacquiao like a Tim Bradley or somebody who's doing better in their career, right? But if he were to fight Matisse, Golden Boy's not going to let him get shortchanged. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to let Matisse walk out of there and make $250,000 to fight fucking Pacquiao. Same thing with Jorge Linares. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to have Lomachenko move up, fight a champion like Jorge Linares. You know what I mean? A guy with title defenses, a name, guy who's been in the industry, spar with Pacquiao, spar with, I believe, Errol Spence Jr. back in the day at the Olympic Training Center, Adrian Broner, them guys. You know what I mean? Golden Boy's not going to let Linares, being a champion, get disrespected. Rigondeaux, even though he's respected he's like a cult favorite, he wasn't a champion at 130. You know what I'm saying? So it's different for Lomachenko. Lomachenko is moving into a division where he has no bargaining chips other than his name and his skill. He's not a champion at lightweight. So, you know what I mean? Golden Boy's not going to let him get disrespected. So that's what it seems like. It seems like on top of anything else, like the Dayton, Bob Arum, he Top Rank, they want it their way. They want it to be on their network, their terms, you know what I mean? And they don't, if possible, preferably, they don't want to probably have to pay Jorge Linares to make that appearance. They would rather probably offer a guy who is fighting for a vacant belt, who's on the Top Rank side, who's going to be a little bit less costly, like Ray Beltran, offer him the fight, which is not a terrible fight, but fans probably would rather see Jorge Linares versus Lomachenko, especially if they're in negotiations. So, like I said, it's just highly coincidental. This seems to always happen with Lomachenko, and I'm telling you guys, like, people are gonna start catching on to this shit. I've been calling the same shit. I've said the same stuff about Lomachenko. He's talented, he's skilled, but I mean, people aren't gonna just settle for him fighting whoever. They're gonna want to see him. If you're saying he's the next Ali, you're gonna have to make some of these big fights, these meaningful fights. There's only so many run-of-the-mill type of guys that you could go through to build Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? And I think Linares is a great fight. So let's see it. So in this situation, from what I've heard, I agree with Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy. It seems more so that Top Rank is the holdup. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's been something I've noticed with Top Rank often, and I cover several Top Rank fights. I have no issue with them, but it's just my observation. It seems like Top Rank truly likes to keep things in-house as much as possible. I mean, you could cite fights like Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, but it got to a point where they were going to miss the train if they didn't make that Pacquiao-Mayweather fight soon. You know what I mean? And it was worth so much money to everybody involved. It would really be stupid to allow that fight to just pass and them never meet each other. You know what I mean? But in these smaller fights and stuff, it's like they don't want to break bread. And sometimes you have to, especially for the fans. Lomachenko's good, but let's see how good. Jorge Linares is a good fight. You know what I mean? What he brings to the table. Even if you think Lomachenko would crush him, you still got to respect Linares, respect that he's a champion, respect that he's confident in calling out Lomachenko back. Some guys in certain divisions, they duck guys. Linares is running to the fire saying, hey, I want to fight that Lomachenko. And Lomachenko's doing the same thing, willing to move up. So let them scrap. You know what I mean? I don't understand why it has to be this one sole date that you know is going to conflict with Canelo versus Golovkin 2 if it happens on another network. You know what I mean? But again, this is the politics. It's just like the Cold War Part 2. And more pissing contests, and I want it on my network. I'm not trying to bring it to HBO. Maybe he has a better deal with ESPN, or he can make more money on ESPN, or call the shots more on ESPN. I don't know. But that's what I'm noticing with Lomachenko's opponents. A lot of these guys aren't really getting cashed out other than Lomachenko. He's the only one really reaping the benefit in the fights. Miguel Mariaga probably didn't make much. We know Rigondeaux didn't make much. Nicholas Walters didn't make much. Then that's the thing with cross promotions. You can do whatever when it's in-house if they're both top-ranked fighters, because you know what they're worth. You know what you paid Ray Beltran or whoever in the past. But you can't necessarily offer Jorge Linares, someone who's on a different side, if you will, offer them some raw deal. They're going to know they're worth more. You know what I'm saying? Or Pacquiao versus Lucas Matisse. Matisse is not going to take a Pacquiao fight. Not saying he doesn't want it, but he's not going to take it for peanuts. But if you put Mike Alvarado in, he, you know what I mean, where he's at in his career, he probably just wants the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So obviously he wants to get paid, but he's not in a position where he can request a whole heap of money. Let me know how you think this plays out. Will they end up fighting? I'm going to be disappointed if this is another failed fight. It just, I've covered boxing long enough and I see patterns. Here's another last example. This happens with Pacquiao all the time, where Pacquiao will be mentioned to fight all of these great names. You know what I mean? Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia, Amir Khan, Lucas Matisse, right? Even Terrence Crawford, but he's with Top Rank, so we'll leave him out, right? All these great, Keith Thurman or whoever. And then none of those fights materialized, and then Pacquiao ends up fighting against Timothy Bradley for a third time. And no one really wanted to see that. No one really needed to see that. Bradley could have went his separate way, and people would probably rather see Bradley rematch Ruslan Provodnikov than see the Pacquiao third fight at the time. You know what I mean? Or a rematch with Diego Chavez at the time. So I just see a pattern, and it's really with Top Rank. It's just, I noticed they have a difficulty when it's cross promoting a big fight with another promoter. They choose more often than not in these high profile fights to keep it in-house. You know what I mean? And the exception to that rule would be Terrence Crawford fought John Molina Jr., an Al Heyman advised fighter of Felix Diaz. But again, in the grand scheme of things, those fights aren't really hard to make because of John Molina Jr. He's probably his asking price. He has losses to Broner and lost to this person, different things like that. So his asking price is probably a lot more reasonable. But when is Top Rank going to cross promote Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford versus Keith Thurman, a major fight, Jorge Linares versus Vasyl Lomachenko, you know what I mean, Pacquiao versus Lucas Matisse, Pacquiao versus Broner, Danny Garcia, one of those major fights where you know if Pacquiao were to fight Danny Garcia has already touched $1 million, $2 million in one particular fight. He got $2 million to fight Keith Thurman. So you know he's not going to take no chump change for Pacquiao. You know you're not going to just be able to lowball him or offer him something that's just okay and him take it. You might be able to do that to Ray Beltran or, you know what I'm saying, somebody else. Let me know your thoughts. Drop in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.